it's been a very dry season.
Yeah, well, it's actually been 2 dry seasons, Rob. It's we've had 2 full years now, really. No spring in 2014, and it's just gone on from there. And really dry summer, and we haven't had a lot of let up. We've only had sort of a bit over 400 mils for the last 2 years. So
What would you normally get?
we normally average for this area is around 650 a year, but to be fair, we've probably been clocking more than that the sort of previous 3 or 4 years, 700 to 800 mils. I suppose we were due for a dry one, but getting 2's been a bit over the top, yeah.
There's a major lack of pasture. Your stock are looking pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, we are, we're probably lacking both pasture and stock. I mean, our stock numbers are well down. We tried to keep as much of our capital stock through the first summer, but then when we got no autumn, we had to unload a lot of stock, and probably the stock have benefited, just with lack of numbers. We've only really run the ewes and probably the stud bulls through this summer. Everything else has been away on grazing, so we had a little bit of relief with a bit of rain in January, and that's probably kept the ewes in good shape. Yeah, so it's probably, it is dry, but we have had a little bit to feed them this autumn, yeah.
Rick, it's quite a big property.
Yeah, we're just a bit over 2,000, about 2,820 hectares, a bit over 7,000 acres. So yeah, we've sort of added a couple of properties to the original place in the last 3 or 4 years.
Now, with this sort of country, people wouldn't expect to see Romneys doing very well.
Oh, well, you're seeing a few more of them now. Yeah, probably that'd be correct, Rob. When we came here in about 2001, 2002, and some dopey North Islander was going to try and run Romneys on this sort of country, but we sort of know that they'll handle adversity well. Where we came from in the Wanganui area, they're used to the hills, and they'll sort of spread around the block and survive on anything. So and perform at a high standard too. So, but now probably there's probably as many crossbreds or Romney type sheep around, neighbours and that, as there is, the fine wool types. So they're sort of moved in a bit around the area.
So you've done a fair bit of development work on the property, like getting water troughs into the different areas.
Yeah, well, that's a bit of, been the key. We've got some good natural water down in creeks and that, but obviously this place runs up pretty high, and you can have as much feed as you like, but if you haven't got water, you're sort of pretty well buggered. So we've spent the last couple of years developing, or improving the water systems on all of the blocks that we've put together, and that's probably the only thing that's really got our stock through that first summer was the water system that we'd put in, because that was a key, really. Yeah. You
mentioned destocking. Now, there's a lot of stock that are off farm at the moment, or have been.
Probably we tried to sort of manage everything through that first summer, and by that autumn 2015, we sort of realised that we weren't going to get an autumn, and we had to send 750 cows off grazing, which was the studs and the commercials, and we had 2,100 hoggets away and some tudus away grazing. So we dropped the ewe numbers a couple of thousand, and by the middle of the winter we realised that we weren't going to have anything to calve cows on, so we had to sell the 400 commercial cows, and the stud cows, we were lucky to have a block grazing in Oxford not far away from here, and we just bought the cows back as they sprung up to calve in sort of August. They really only did a couple of months back home, and we'd run out of feed again by that stage, and luckily I had a couple of neighbours who had a bit of feed, and we grazed the cattle through mating there, and by the start of December we were really dry again, and so everything went away grazing. We got rid of a lot of lambs, we weaned early, got rid of all our works ewes, lambs to the works, and all our keeper ewe lambs went straight on a truck to Southland, to a tappery. A couple of mates down there grazed them for us down there, and really everything's been, we only really had around 6,000 ewes, and we had a few trade lambs that we finished, and our bulls were the only things that we had on the place. And we were lucky enough to get 4 or 5 inches of rain in January, and that enabled us to get a wee bit of growth, and stock have all come back now, and so we're sort of, yeah, we're not looking good. We haven't had any rain since the end of that January, really only 20 mils since the end of January, so we're sort of hoping that we either get rain or it stays warm, otherwise she could be a long winter. Yeah.
Really, this has to be one of the worst droughts that you've seen.
Well, yeah, I haven't been here, I've only been here 15 years, but, we've got family in the district that have been here, for 100 years, and, it certainly is, the older people are saying, the worst they've ever seen it. I have got neighbours that have got no stock on their properties at all at the moment. They've bought them back last winter, and it's just been, some of the blocks that haven't got the rough country or the scope that we've got. I've got a neighbour who's got all of his ewes out grazing at the moment, so it's been tough.
On a brighter note, 17th of June, it's your bull sale.
Well, yeah, that's probably about the only positive I sort of hear people saying about, and it's been good to see the breeder getting good returns for beef at the moment. Unfortunately for us, we sold our cows last winter and we haven't sort of really had anything to sell. So, yeah, that's what Rob, our bull sale will be the first time we've had to sort of have some cattle to sell. So hopefully, we're a wee bit concerned that there's a lot of cows down around the area. So we've been trying to canvass around a few other areas and try and, hopefully we'll have a few people that have made a bit of money out of this strong beef market, and be interested in buying a few bulls,
Well, you can't say that they've been pampered when you look at what they're grazing on.
Well, no, you sort of got to try and do the best you can, but it's one thing that I think, certainly one of our ideals is that, we run a true commercial operation with high sheep numbers here, and all the cattle have to compete, normally with the sheep, and that's right. As you can see, we've been out with the bulls. Certainly, being tested, they were lighter at weaning, and they sort of had a bit of a reprieve when we got the January rain, but now she's, we certainly would have them on a lot better tucker normally than what they are coming up to the bull sale, that's for sure. So, yeah.
Rick, tell me about your red oak beef, because that's a little off farm activity.
Yeah, well, we just sort of, it was a bit of a follow-on thing, Rob, from, we had a lease block where we finished a lot of steers up in Hamner a few years ago, and we sort of sold one farm and bought a couple more. We sort of had a bit of a restructure, and we, decided to, we've had a good family association with Harris Meats in Cheviot, known the boys there for a number of years, and we decided that, we've got our pure New Zealand bloodlines have featured strongly in the Stake of Origins over the years, and that meat is, particularly sort of tender. It's got a good amount of intramuscular fat and a nice deep red colour, which is tenderness. That's what the game's about. So we followed on, and we've decided to market our own brand, and we've sort of really just in the initial stages the last 12 months or so, and that's been working pretty well. We've had a great response and been to a few, the Christchurch show and the Christchurch food show just recently, and we're sort of selling a wee few, trying to get it into a couple of smaller supermarkets around Christchurch at the moment, so it's been good.
The people can buy it online?
That's right, yeah, Red Oak Premium Angus website, and for us we just sort of focused on the cuts that are most commonly used. When you're killing beast, everyone wants a steak or different parts, but we sort of wanted to get, we've got to get rid of the whole beast, so we've sort of got about 20 kilo boxes, and it's a breakdown of sort of your steaks, schnitzel, beef schnitzel, a couple of roasts, and then we've got gourmet tomato and basil sausages that have been award winners for Harris's, Harris meats, and also some really good burger patties and mince. So that's the sort of breakdown, and it's about 50% sort of primal red meat and 50% sausages and mince and patties. So yeah, we just sort of sell it on a per kilo basis, and it's delivered around the South Island at this stage, and yeah, no, it seems to be working all right. So.
Now, Rick, this is the red oak beef lot, so everything is traceable.
Yeah, well, as you can see, it's labelled on the box here that we've got like the tag number of the animal. You know, we know how they're bred, we know how they're being fed, and you know, they go through Harris Meats, and they're boxed in a package, and you'll see the assortment from the different types of steak, the sausages, patties. It's all in there. You know, it's the same breakdown every box, and yeah, no, it's quite good. You know, we can follow sidelines through, or you know, different
People really want to know what animal it came off, because
well,
it is obviously the same animal.
It seems to be, yeah, the most interesting thing. Sort of, people want to know the story, and you know, that they're interested in, you know, questions that we've been asked at some of these food shows. You know, they want to know what the sausage casings are and everything. They want to know, you know, how they're bred, where they run, and that people are pretty interested in, you know, what they're getting with their food, or, you know, it doesn't, you know, it's not organic, but it's pretty, you know, grass-fed, naturally run. I mean, you know, so
Nothing nicer than that.
Well, yeah, it seems to be, you know, people are enjoying it. So we haven't had a single complaint about anything really yet. So yeah, so must be doing all right.